The dieting, the weight loss, and the healing process can be one of the most life-changing emotional journeys that you will ever go through. We have so many things that are predetermined. We had choices that our parents made for us when we were younger, whether it was medications, antibiotics, foods that we were given, the way we were fed, the supplements, all the different things that have set our bodies up. It's why childhood obesity is one of the biggest epidemics, because it sets your metabolism, your hormones, your cellular health up for failure for the rest of your life. It is not to say that things cannot change as you get older and you don't have the power to do that, but you're at a disadvantage. And a lot of us grew up dealing with different things that set us up for the way that we have now been forever. When we were children, we learned things in certain ways. My degree in college was human development and family studies. The way your brain develops in childhood determines a lot of the way that you think, you feel, you act. If you did not learn things when you were younger about your food intake, a proper relationship with food, what's important, you're going to carry a lot of those things over for the rest of your life. I feel very lucky to have had some health issues throughout a lot of my life that forced me into getting to the place that I am now, where I am happy and healthy, and I understand the balance of it all and how to keep myself there. A lot of people don't have that discipline, understanding, or even knowing of where to start and how to move to that level, which is very unfortunate. And it's just something that I'm very passionate about in teaching people. I feel very empathetic towards people who have a very poor relationship with food because of trauma, because of health issues, because of the lack of help that's out there for certain people. I deal with people from eating disorders to postmenopausal women to autoimmune conditions to physique goals. I mean, all across the board, I've dealt with everyone. I myself have had some pretty extreme, I mean, I can't even say that at this point, extreme health issues compared to a lot of the people that I deal with now. It's put a lot of my stuff into perspective. But I would say a lot of roller coaster of health issues, as well as, I would say, borderline eating disorder stuff in the past, triggered by other things. I had OCD as a kid, Tourette's, I was heavily medicated, a lot of those things. When I was younger, chronic UTIs, chronic antibiotic use, a lot of those things set my system up for a lot of issues. And then as I got into sports, becoming a Division I basketball player, then turning to a pro bodybuilder, it triggered a lot of OCD and a lot of different trauma that I had experienced as a kid, whether it just be from emotional things from when I grew up, or the issues that I had to deal with Tourette's and a lot of the things that I was medicated for. But it continued to play out my life in different ways, and it forced me to conquer it. Again, I know that not everyone is lucky enough to get to that place, but I just want to say it doesn't matter how old you are dealing with it. We all go through different energetic cycles at different points to force us into dealing with these things, and it is possible. I myself remember a very dark period of time for 5-6 years where I had no social life. I didn't go out, I didn't drink, I was obsessive, I was chronically stressed and worried and anxious about my healing and what I was doing. I sabotaged myself because I overthought everything that I did. I worried, I'd feel one little thing and be hypersensitive, and then I would go the opposite direction, and I just questioned everything. I didn't have anybody to keep me grounded or to help me understand what was going on, why it was happening. And I do believe that there was a lot of that nobody could have helped me with, even at this point. And so it took me sort of just releasing the need to have to know everything right now and learning to just let go a little bit and have fun to figure it out. But a lot of discipline, a lot of understanding, a lot of trial and error. And at this point, when I have people come to me, I tell them this may not be your end, but it may be a very huge chunk of the puzzle. Looking back, I don't really believe that there was any one person that helped me significantly, but it did help me check the boxes. Now, it's the reason I do what I do now, because there's a lot of people that weren't around then that are now, especially in the social media era, where it's easier to find people that specialize in certain things, even though a lot of people claim to specialize and really don't. But I will say, from even a lot of the negative experiences that I had working with people, it allowed me to know which direction to go, what else to try, and what else to do. And I believe that a lot of emotional trauma and emotional issues that were healed throughout the process allowed my nervous system to heal and allowed a lot of other things to fall into place. And so I can't contribute it to exactly one thing. But to this day, my body can sway back and forth in different ways. I just know it well enough to, for the most part, know what it needs and what I need to try. And I don't worry so much when things pop up. I have faith and trust in knowing that I will come back to the other direction, or that I just need more rest. And it really takes working with somebody that's been in a certain place before. Not even physically. I haven't been through all the things that all my clients have, but emotionally and mentally, and understanding that. And that's why I try to preach mind, body, spirit, because it's not just your physical self, it's your mental self, it's your emotional self, it's your spiritual self, the connection you have with your higher power, the God, the universe, spirit, but also your mental health and yourself and how you connect to those things. I believe that when you get to a certain point spiritually and with yourself energetically, that all of those things start to align. So you can't neglect one or the other. All of those things need to start to be in alignment within a certain amount in order to really click and for you to physically heal. And on the other point, I will say the healing process, if you just start with the physical, starts to bring up the emotional, or vice versa. It is why this process does not work well for a lot of people who aren't emotionally ready to deal with it, because things come up and they can't handle it. Same as you're triggered emotionally by other people in your lives, relationships, whatever. It works the same on the physical plane. When you are physically healing yourself, let's say you work with me, I can't coach you through therapy, I can't whatever. So you are going to have a lot of these things pop up. If you can't emotionally ground yourself and bring yourself back to, or deal with things that are being triggered by the physical, because we store a lot of that in our bodies, or we start to not, the scale isn't moving, or I'm not feeling better yet this week, or these things start popping up and our mind starts to take over, then emotionally I can't help you. And in order for you to work through the process of healing, a lot of people that I wouldn't say self-sabotage, but mentally aren't ready to talk themselves through that process and drop off and push themselves away. So again, it's the reason I preach the mind, body, spirit thing, because it all does need to be in alignment. It all does have to work together. And I can only facilitate some of it. I can tell people that they need to heal in other ways. But again, as you're working through that physical stuff, a lot of the other things start popping up. If you can work through that as you're going and start to release all of it, amazing. You're going to make way more progress than you've ever imagined. Same if you start with the emotional stuff. The more people start working through emotional things, the more they start to actually get healthier, release the weight. If you start dealing with some of that stuff aside, if you can do it all together, even better. So that's kind of my take on the mind, body, spirit connection, what I do, how I work with people, what I've been through, why I'm so passionate about what it is that I do. And again, if you need help if you are looking for help navigating through your own healing process, whether it's just a normal physique goal or you have a lot of major health issues. Please reach out. I work with people all over the country. I do work with people out of country on specifically just their nutrition and workout programs, but more in depth with more of the lab work and more of that deeper healing rooted stuff on the integrative health front with people here in the US. So please reach out. My contact info is in the description below.